Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy Bit with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great show for you. We've got three women from Savannah, from our neck of the woods, who's doing an adventure. And I think it's really amazing what they're doing out there. They show that no matter what age you are, no matter what you're doing, you can get out there and do something, even in this crazy pandemic.
Oh, yes.
And they have a show called Glamping Adventures. And we're going to hear a lot about that. I want to hear a little bit about parts of their story too, just to see how all this come together. We're excited to see where this goes.
Yes, this should be a fun one.
So welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's definitely our pleasure. With us, it's funny, everybody we interview for the most part is all across the nation.
It is.
So it's really cool when we have people from our neck of the woods.
Yes, local.
So as we get started here, and I guess my first question I always ask every guest right now, because the times we're in, will kind of lead us into what y'all do anyway, because it's kind of the reason you do what you do. But, one of the things I like to talk about is, as you know, it's a tough time for a lot of people, especially within entertainment. How has COVID affected y'all, and what are some things y'all have done to kind of maneuver around this crazy new maze?
Well, I was an event planner and fundraiser before COVID, and when COVID hit, my calendar went completely blank. And I had just emptied my nest, so it was just a combination of a lot of craziness, I guess, all at once. And that led to us sitting around one night talking about what in the world are we going to do? We're not going to be able to go travel like we thought we were going to do and go on a cool girls trip like we typically do. And I thought, well, I've always wanted to see the United States and go out west and go on a road trip. And the rest is history, I guess.
So so then Chris came over one day and was like, since we can't get on the airplane and go our girls trip, let's just get an RV and drive on a road trip.
An RV, like fly to Colorado.
And then what happened?
Later, this one who we call Turbo in the cowboy hat here, she just went and bought an RV a week later. Come, be ready, I'm picking you up. We're getting an RV, and we got the RV and then drove it to the RV park, which is only like 5 minutes down the road from where we bought it. So yes,
and we camped that night, opening up all of our packages of stuff that we had to buy at the store. No idea. So we started filming our whole process from the time that we decided to buy a camper. I started the Facebook group called Glamping Adventures and asked other camping people, we're going to do this trip. What kind of camper should we buy? Where should we go to buy it? How much should we pay for it? Kind of just to get the general public involved with this adventure that we were about to go on, because we have no idea what we're doing. So, we then got people's opinion. We went to Myrtle Beach. We bought the camper. We bought some of the stuff that they told us that we had to buy to put in the camper. So naturally, we just started filming the process for the people that were watching to see the process of us buying this camper, and then trying to figure out how to, some people call it an RV. I call it a camper.
It's very serious out there too.
Yeah.
They will get you.
Wow. Yeah, don't say it wrong.
Yeah. We have a 31-foot mini Winnie with a full wall slide. And so it sleeps all of us comfortably, and we drive it. And us test driving the RV the day we bought it was literally the first time we had ever drove an RV. So when we went there, the lady was like, okay, so you know what you're doing, right? And we're like, no, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know at all.
I thought they knew what they were doing. Somewhere in my mind, I thought that she had an RV or maybe like been one before. So I was under kind of the wrong impression too, I think.
So I just picked them up and said, we're buying a camper, get in.
And we had extra time, like so many people, when the quarantine happened, you were allowed sort of this free time to switch, and people had to pivot and start working remotely and do all these different things. So we just also kind of took it as this time to, let's go do this thing that we've always, I wanted to do. And then they just, I guess, and then they're like, yeah, I want to do it too. So next time, your friends.
Everybody really wants to do it.
Well, and other people are doing it, because when we went to go book our campgrounds, we were shocked to find out that there's a lot of other people like us that are out on the wide open road. Yes.
And we had 1 month to prepare for our journey out west, which was over 4,600 miles in 10 days. And
Oh, wow.
we prepared in like 1 month by watching videos.
Tell them what happened right when we drove down the road after we bought the mini.
We go right down the road, we camp, and we pack up, and we're headed home back to Savannah the next day, and the check engine light comes on. And
Oh, no, not good.
on since then.
It's been on. It was on for our whole trip. It's still on to this day.
We've had her checked out,
But we put-
like, everything's okay. So yeah, we just put a sticker over.
Kept going.
Well, we put a sticker over it.
There you go.
The sticker says you can do it.
Awesome.
I love that.
Love that.
Now granted, this kind of don't go with what you just said, but yet it does. Talking about for the first time, I can remember when I was 18 years old, I went and bought a Mitsubishi truck, and I went for a test drive. Never driven a stick before, and so I learned to drive a stick shift during the test drive.
Oh, that was me. Yep. 100%. Stick shift. I did actually call my friend over to test drive it for me because I didn't know how to drive it.
And we drove, and my dad and I drove off the lot with the truck, and he was in his car, and I drove that, and from that point on, I was able to drive a stick shift.
Right. You just jump in. We say grab your bootstraps and you just figure it out, especially if you have a couple friends. Well, for us, it was a whole thing. Like, we're all single women. So, when you can't do your girls trip that you normally do, I mean, what kind of are you left with? We luckily all like the outdoors a lot.
Oh, wow.
The show is called Glamping Adventures, not just because of the adventure of us trying to figure out camping and RV, but we go to specific locations for adventures. So we hunt, we fish, we what else do we do? We get beaver dams out of culverts. It's like a dirty jobs thing. we try to find outdoor things that we can connect with nature or animals in some way, and do something fun that's not it's pandemic safe.
Yeah, and they'll often say you can't quarantine. They call me Tina, and it lasted about maybe 4 days or possibly 3 in quarantine, and then I had to be out and about.
That's us.
Oh, that's definitely us too.
The neighborhood with nature trails, and so that was done in like 3 days. I'd explored everything, so it was time to go see something else. So yeah, let's go. So
And we've been all lucky because living in Georgia, except for those 1.5 to 2 months, we've been open.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. But when we go on our trips, we bring all of our own food, so we don't go to restaurants.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And we catch our food. We love to eat local. So when we can find like a chef or a local person who has like local cultural food, we love to do that sort of thing. But we don't go to restaurants or any kind of events anymore. So yeah, it's fun.
We did do yoga at Red Rocks, but they were all COVID friendly, like they were spaced out because they weren't having any concerts. So created a new avenue, and it was packed like the whole time.
We haven't said this publicly yet, so you're the first people that get to hear it.
Exclusive.
We are trying to plan a trip this summer to head to Red Rocks to a sold out concert.
Oh, wow.
Oh, awesome.
but we figured if we just drive there, that
somehow you'll get in.
Yes. Go for it. Yeah.
And as your celebrityness starts rising and people start noticing who y'all are, then things like that do happen. You pull up, oh, I know them, and then next thing you know, you're backstage.
I think the Mini Winnie is becoming more famous than us.
But that's like,
and they're like, there she is.
Oh, that's cool.
That's like for our show. Later in the show, we always bring on our 9-year-old to ask 1 or 2 questions to each of the guests, and the guests always remember him more than anybody.
Oh,
so we're like, he's our secret sauce.
He's the star of the show, definitely.
and so it looks like COVID kind of created a new career for y'all.
Yeah. It created a whole new culture for everybody.
And that's like for us. I remember we launched this show January 2020, and our original plan was to do 100 interviews our first year, and then COVID happens. And I remember telling Sandy, I was like, this could be a blessing for us, because as the entertainment world slows down, people who are normally bigger, who would not come on a brand new show, might actually come on a show because they got nothing else to do. Yeah. So I started reaching out to everybody. And because of all that, we did over 300 interviews last year.
Awesome. Oh, great. Yeah. Skyway Pictures, who we are now partnering with to do our videos for our social media platforms. They actually, because Hollywood has filming and there's not a lot of content going on because, like we're open, but other states aren't. So we were perfect timing with them that they just happened to have just moved here and started a film company. And they saw what we were doing. We met them and we decided, let's do this.
And a lot of people, when they see what y'all do, they probably see the fun part and they see all the fun, the glory of it. But we know that there's a lot of work involved in what you do. Challenges. So tell us about that side of it, because I want people, on our show, we like to talk about the good and the bad. So, let's talk about that side of it. What are some of the challenges, especially first time RV people, people, what have been some of the challenges that you've had to go through on this crazy road adventure?
Well, we are definitely unique as a TV show in a way that we are very open to show all of our faults and everything that goes wrong. So when you watch us, you realize that, it's not all just fun and games. They're not always just having fun. They're working, they're getting dirty. So, the first time we went to camp, we hooked up the crapper hose. And we didn't know, how to use it really or whatever.
I showed up in white jeans and flip-flops.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Flip-flops.
I didn't know.
She's under the camper.
Oh, wow.
Unscrewing the thing.
I couldn't get it off.
Couldn't get it off because the pressure's already open because it was ready to come out. Got it off. It crapped all over her.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's good. I kept rolling the camera. Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
So,
it takes a lot of maintenance and engineering, I guess, or just know-how of keeping her running. Like one time we're hooked up to water and we ran out. All because of one button. You just hit one button, but we just didn't comprehend that at the moment. Now we but so it's little things like that, like you can't plug in here, or you can't forget to hook the power back into the RV, so there's just so much. And
when we bought her, we realized that there is no jacks or levelers on 1 foot camper with a full wall slide, which makes no sense because if you're not level, then you cannot put your slide out or in.
Oh, wow.
So in order to level, we literally had to go collect rocks and sticks and logs around the campground to level out our tires so that we could even put the slide out to camp. So
because we didn't
Wow.
know to buy the level, the ramp.
Because we've never been RVing, so this is all new to us.
Yes, we hope to
We
get
wanna
one someday. No.
So on this journey, what's it like being 3 women on the road
Yes.
in one vehicle?
Yes.
So glampers have rules, and we talked about one of our rules early, that we always be ready as a rule. Then we have a rule of, well, they'll always be ready, because women don't want to wait. You don't want to wait for anybody. Be ready. That's it. No complaining. Rule number 2. That speaks for itself. Nobody wants to hear moaning and negativity. So
Exactly.
we're positive and encouraging. And even though we're trying to figure things out and things are going wrong, we still are always positive. We don't complain ever. So then number 3 is always be sexy. And that just means, don't smell because we're in the same camper.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to make you feel good about yourself, that's what that rule is. And then the last rule is always bring snacks. Because
That's important.
that's part of
really important.
Yes.
complaining. Just have snacks. That's it. So,
I think it's okay. We actually had a 4th. She flew in from Oregon, and we picked her up at the airport, and then drove out to Colorado and back.
Oh, well.
So we had 4 of us that went all the way out and back. And because we don't have the levelers, we couldn't get the slide out a lot of times. Like one night we slept in Walmart parking lot in Denver. Sorry, Mama. We did.
Truck stop. We stopped at
And so,
Arkansas.
like we have a bed in the back, but it's like, this big. So with her, and like halfway through the night, I went out and got outside or in the other part and slept on a couch that was like 3 feet.
Wow.
But
It is
Are you
small.
scared? Do you get scared?
It is small. The only time I've ever really gotten scared is when I woke up and we were in the truck stop. I guess I was just a little shocked because I guess I'd fallen asleep, and then I woke up and I was like, "Wait, where am I?" I looked outside and I was like,
truckers
What is
everywhere.
happening?
We all have guns. We all have guns in the camper.
Oh, that's smart. Yes.
I mean,
Be safe.
we're not afraid to defend ourselves.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Mom, when she asked you about that.
Yeah, my mom's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about going off with 2 girls. And I said, Mom, they're the rootin' tootin' cowboys probably to go somewhere with than any man I've ever dated or been married to or whatever.
Love it.
Yes.
Hey, what are some of your favorite places that you all have traveled to so far?
One of my favorite was we went trout fishing in the Ozarks of Arkansas. And so it was just, it was so pretty. The water was colder, so it had this fog on it. And we had this pontoon boat with the tour guide who'd been there forever. He's actually a known celebrity there, and we had the best time.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
And then the Red Rocks, the yoga at Red Rocks, some of my favorites.
We did have one of my favorites was also one of our scariest.
Oh, God.
We went whitewater rafting down the Colorado River.
Oh, wow.
None of us have ever been whitewater rafting before. And
What's your first?
a friend of a friend invited us on an adventure, and they were not a licensed rafting instructor, but were life jackets on the raft. We just didn't put them on. I don't know. It was nice, it didn't look like it was gonna be crazy or anything.
Yeah.
So we go down this one part, we hear this loud, like waterfallish type noise up front. So we asked the guy, we're like, it's the water's getting pretty loud up there. Should we do anything? And what do you say, Chris?
He said, just strap down the cooler, hold on to the cooler. And there was the lab puppy. I had been fishing the whole time. It's probably one of my best fishing experiences of my life. I was just casting and catching and doing my own thing. So I was kind of in my own world. And he said, do y'all plan on riding a bull on this trip? And I was like, no. What's he even talking about?
Probably because my hat.
And he's like, okay. He's like, well, here comes Rodeo Rapids.
So then,
I know.
So then, her Tornado, me, and Tam are in the front of the boat, and Christina is in the back of the boat. And I'm recording with my phone. I'm videotaping, and she's in the back recording with her phone. We're just oblivious, and the boat dips down and these two almost fall out the boat, and I'm like helping grab them. They're trying to brace themselves. So I turn off my phone. I'm trying not to fall out the boat, and we're like, phew, got through that. And then we turn around, and Tina is lost.
Oh no!
She floated right down Rodeo Rapids with her hat in her hand, her boots on.
He said the only thing he said was, if someone falls in, I will jump in and get you. Well, I just all of a sudden was
right. Who's gonna drive the boat?
And then I looked at him and I realized he's not coming in.
No.
Spectator said I looked like a trout just
flopping around
down just coming down the river. Just here I am, but it was pretty surreal. I was a little bit like a baptismal, or I'm not sure, a rebirth. But when another boat came along, and a girl from another boat grabbed me and dragged.
Wow!
Oh wow!
The name of the rapids should have been a sign.
Yeah, that probably should. Yeah. Next time I'll do it.
And you know what's funny about that name, and you not realize thinking about the name, is I remember on our honeymoon we were up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
And and we were walking by this ride, and it had two bungee cords. I thought, and people think I'm crazy for this, but I thought this ride would take you up and drop you. Like a bungee jump.
What does that do?
And I convinced her that that's all it does. And she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "He's like, we just got married. Trust me." And so we get on this thing. Needless to say, it's called Slingshot. I didn't catch that.
No way.
And so we get on this thing, and we're sitting there, and I hear.
When we're about halfway up or something, it went up slow.
And I'm like, I told Sandy, I wonder what's happening. And all of a sudden, it shoots. Of course, the bungee stretched, and it shot us straight up. And she's like, "Get me off of this!" And I'm like,
"Get me off this!
There's nothing I can do." And we go up, and then when the bungee cords stretch all the way, then the cart flipped, and now you're upside down.
Yeah, it's hurtling towards the earth.
And it don't just let you drop because the bungee stretched. It shot you again, so it's like another slingshot. And
like 4 or 5 times.
And she was like freaking, and here it is, my first time really telling her, "Look, all it's gonna do is this," and it didn't do that.
Yeah.
You got tricked.
And you're still married.
And we're still married. I'm like,
years later.
Off that thing again,
We call that getting accidentally tricked. Yeah. I do it all the time. I don't need to get us in these situations, and I think I know what I'm doing sometimes, but accidentally tricked.
Okay. So how'd you all come up with your nicknames? One's Tornado, Turbo, and how did those nicknames come about?
She got Turbo in the hat. She got her nickname from pretty much, she speeds up everything, just like when I said, "Hey, let's rent an RV in Colorado. Let's fly to Colorado, rent an RV and take it out west." And before I know it, I blink my eye and she's bought an RV. When she drives the RV, she puts the pedal to the metal, and it literally takes 5 minutes for the back of the RV to catch up to the front. Like you can reaction, but that's how she does. But that's who she is. She's a successful real estate agent, and so it just continues on through her entire life. She just turbos stuff up.
Just turbo up everything.
She just does what she wants.
Now we're turboing up a TV show.
Yes.
So, Tornado, I named her that because she whirls around and pops up randomly in places, and you never know where she's gonna pop up, and then boom, she's gone just like that. Or you knew she was there. And sometimes there's destruction in her wake, like broken parts and stuff like that. But you know, it's not the tornado's fault that the heart is broken.
Right.
They're just in the way.
I can tell them.
And then Chris.
So Christina here, that's her full name, but
yes,
I know her as Chris. And through like the empty nesting and the the events, we just kind of said, let's go on a quest to find Tina, because our Chris, but she lost to Tina. But what's really funny is we've been friends for over a year, like 2 years now, and we were halfway through the trip, and Turbo here goes, "Oh, your full name is Christina." I get it now. We were like, "Oh my gosh, the blonde, so true." But so yeah, so now we.
Yeah, Tina was my Bumble name. So
okay,
Your Bumble name.
When maybe I drink a little whiskey here and there,
Tina comes out.
So Tina comes out. So
got it.
No, I'm
So your alter ego.
Yes, your alter ego. And how have y'all's backgrounds helped you with this venture?
I think I've always loved outdoors. I'm lady angler, so I love fishing, and I've been fishing for as long as I can remember, since my Barbie doll probably fishing pole that I got at Walmart at 4. But I have been fishing and doing outdoors my whole life, and grew up in Tennessee, so in a small town, so farm town, and I've always spent time exploring the outdoors, and that's my happy place. That's my joy, is being outdoors and being in nature.
And that's what we all have in common. We were all raised in small towns. I'm from Oregon. Tornado's from Kentucky. And
Kentucky.
Yes, a Kentucky native here too.
we were all raised on farms, so we're all outdoorsy and adventurous. So
which helps tremendously on just going for it.
We don't mind. We don't. I mean, we are glampers, and we are sort of the glamorous, as one guy described it, in heels and pearls. Well, we're probably more likely to be in boots and hats and sometimes muddy. We're not afraid to get dirty. So.
Yeah, we love to get out in the wild and get dirty, but at the same time, we like to stay at 5-star hotel resorts. So
yes,
trying to find something in
the best of both
trying
worlds.
to find the balance there.
Really nice. We want to go get dirty.
So how's the transition been moving into the TV scene?
So it's been really kind of just it just happened by itself. We just happened to meet Jim and Julio, and they are fans, and they are Emmy Award winning creatives, and they saw our footage, and they just said, "We love what y'all are doing, and we want to help you spread the word to the world." So
COVID has taken a lot of people to YouTube. Kind of gotten over, cable TV, and have really gotten into YouTube. And there's not a lot of women, 40 plus, doing this type of thing. There's a lot of millennials. There's a lot of couples, but 3 women, people are like, are you kidding me? Don't you get sick of each other? Don't you get in fights? Well, probably wouldn't be able to get in a mini with just any women, but it takes, like-minded women like yourself that we love the outdoors and we don't mind, jumping in there. Aura does get stuck with a lot of the engineering and some of the, but we're learning and we're apprenticing under her right now, or I am, to figure out the other parts that, but we each kind of have our own role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to transition into the TV, it was just kind of a natural thing because we want to show people that if we can figure it out, that you can figure it out too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Organic. It just kind of happened from our video to people going, what's happening next? Where are you going now?
And we want to help you get there, or
so
we want to help you go there.
A while ago, you were talking about for being over 40 and all that. We're moving to Nashville probably in the next 12 months or so.
Yeah.
Feel like that's where our show needs to be based out of. And we're actually launching a little thing for Nashville called 40 over 40 to finally recognize people that are over 40.
Because you have
all these things that 40 under 40, 30 under 30, 20, like there's nothing for our generation. And I'm like, why has not anybody ever thought of this? And I'm like, so we've got a lot of people in Nashville really excited about this. So we hope that if we can have a big event later this year in Nashville, 40 over 40, that maybe it'll spread across the nation.
Oh, invite us too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely invite you. That'd be cool to have y'all there. But like I said, when you talk about the being in your 40s, I was like, that's perfect. Again, nobody really they think, oh, once you hit 40, you're dead and you're all this.
Yeah,
and we've started a new career with this show in our 40s. So we want to do what y'all do. Show people, look, if you've got a dream, and you just go do it, and don't
just go for
and
it.
don't over plan it, because I'm part of some podcast groups. And so many people are like, oh, what mic do I need? What this I need? What that? And they've been answering these same questions for months.
And they never get started.
And I'm like, you know what? You don't even know if you'll like doing a show or a podcast. Why not just pull your phone up, pull your laptop, and start? Because if you spend $2,000-$3,000 and you don't like it, you just wasted all that money. And you probably never will start anyway, because you're all you're doing is procrastinate. You know what? Just pull your phone out and start, right?
It's exactly the advice. Everybody says, what advice do you have to give other people who want to do what you're doing? And it's exactly what you just said. You just have to do it. You're never going to feel ready. It's never going to feel like the perfect timing. You just have to do it. Just go.
Love that. Yeah.
Now, as you know, to do what you do, it also takes a team of people. And I always want to make sure we recognize teams on our show, because
they're so important.
They're so important to everybody's life. And I don't care if people got a team of 1 or a team of 300, like Justin Bieber says he has. A team is a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I always want to make sure that they get the love they deserve, because they never do. So take a few moments, just tell us about the team behind y'all.
Well, Chris mentioned a little bit about Skyway. We'll talk about that again, but we also have Marjorie with Carriage Trade.
Oh, she's great. She's amazing.
We have Bunny Ware is a big glamping supporter.
We love her. Yes.
Connect Savannah. Michael Brooks with South is launching an adventure online TV channel.
South TV.
Oh, wow.
So he's featured the glampers a couple times on his South TV on our adventures. Coach's Corner. John Henderson has been great in hosting glamper send-off parties and letting us park the Mini Winnie in his
Oh, awesome.
but we Fulfill For Me, it does our website, and we're currently working on merchandising. So we are starting our e-commerce. I don't know what I'm talking about.
E-commerce store.
We're gonna have merch to sell.
Yes, merch and everything.
To Fulfill For Me right here in Savannah. All the people that we work with are right here in Savannah, local community.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
And they're all just entrepreneurs like ourselves who, try to start a small business. So we really try to support a lot of local people that just want.
It's important.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Cultural movement of glamping.
And have that same drive, that same, get out and just do it and not have the fear that everyone else has.
They got to have some turbo jets,
Yes.
And speaking of teams, we've got a third co-host that we always bring on. So
do.
Sandy's going to go get him real quick.
Yes.
And then we've got a 2-year-old that when she gets older, she'll be plugged into the show too, because we are a family affair. And it's funny because, all the people our age have kids in college and all that. And we've got a 9-year-old and a 2-year-old. So we're trying to figure a way, okay, we got this crazy show. Let's bring them all together and, and just enjoy life, how we can do it.
Yeah, you could do this from an RV. You should look.
Well, that's actually one of our goals is to take the Chris and Sandy show on like a tour in the summers and just go and interview people at different parts.
Yes, we want to do that someday.
Hi, girls.
Hi.
So, what's your favorite food?
It's our favorite camping food. You want to do camping?
I like fish.
Catching the fish.
We catch the fish and then put it on our grill at the campfire and eat the fish. And s'mores.
Oh, you love those.
What's yours?
Favorite food?
Mine is pizza.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't love pizza?
Yeah, he could eat it all day long
He
if we gave it to him.
loves
He loves pizza.
You got one more question?
Yes, what's your favorite TV show?
Glamping Adventures. Have you seen it?
I knew they were going to say that.
Yes. We'll have to check it out, Maddie, right?
Yeah.
And what's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
Oh, cool.
That movie.
And you know what's been cool about our show is because he watches a lot of Nickelodeon shows. We've been able to bring a lot of people from Nickelodeon, from his shows on the shows. He's been able to actually talk to some of the people he loves on his TV.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
And that's been the craziest part to this whole journey that Sandy and I have been on with this show is little Chris. A lot of kids, when they see TV, they wish they could talk to them or something. That's just normal to him. He gets to talk to all these people. So to him, it's just, okay, I get to talk to him.
Maybe he can teach us TikTok and how to do all the social media because we're at like that middle.
Right? You can help us.
Oh, yes.
Bye, thanks.
And speaking of TikTok, how are y'all doing with TikTok? We've seen that you're doing a little bit on TikTok.
Yes,
So how's
we
that
watched
been?
some of your TikTok videos.
So we just started TikTok about maybe a month ago. And I turboed up like 200 videos on TikTok.
She went through all the content and just started creating videos. Like,
Now I'm obsessed.
Because we've got a TikTok account under
And we
Chris and Sandy
don't
show.
know what to do with it.
Never
We've
done.
never made
I guess it's going to be
one.
one of them. It's like I just preached. You just got to do
Right.
Good idea.
Up and do it.
it.
For some of our content, and I have an amazing time being entertained by it. But these two are not so thrilled with it. But it's funny, and we should do it to each other. Just walk up and catch them when they're not expecting to be on camera.
Oh, that would be funny. Yeah.
all the time.
I get her all the time. She'll turn around, and then TikTok will then take that footage and turn it into a video for you.
What's funny is so many
Oh,
times
cool.
we joke with each other. It's like after we would say something crazy, or like, boy, thank God no cameras following us, because we're like, I remember the whole Jessica Simpson reality
with the
show.
tuna.
And it's like the show kept
chicken of
airing
the-
that one line. Is this
Uh-huh.
chick? Is it? What was it?
Chicken of the sea tuna. Is this chicken or is it fish?
And she was like, "Is this chicken or is this fish?" And they aired that over and over and over.
Yeah.
We're always saying dumb stuff like that. I mean, yeah, no, that's every episode in our show.
That is, when you're not thinking about being in front of the camera like we are now, when you're not thinking about it, things just come
Yeah,
out.
you're just gonna say random crazy stuff.
And it's
It
usually the
happens.
people that try to make it happen that don't. It doesn't come out because you can see
Yeah.
it's not authentic. But when it authentically comes out of you,
It's hilarious.
it's hilarious.
Tornado got onto me one time because we had a leak in the camper over the shower. It was raining, and we're crossing country, and I put duct tape over it.
Duct tape works for everything, right?
It does. It fix anything.
Because the water then goes somewhere.
I just went right behind her and pulled it off.
And then
So
she goes on the roof.
So where y'all see yourself in 5 years from now? Because like gotta have dreams and goals, and I know at all of our ages, a lot of times people, like we were saying earlier, people think you're dead at 40, but I think that's when you just become alive.
Yeah,
because you know who you are, you know where you stand on things, and you know where you want to go. So where do y'all see yourself in 5 years?
Well, our goal is to positively influence as many people as we possibly can. Whatever that looks like, we're not really sure. We're just kind of winging it. But in 5 years, there will be a major glamping revolution, and our ways of travel and adventure are going to be completely transformed. So we are on the cutting edge of that happening.
Oh, wow.
Now, let's look 15 years down the road, and let's say that y'all are a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like, y'all have made it. If the people you are today could meet your future successful selves, what would y'all want to remind them?
Keep going. Go with your heart. As long as you're doing things for the right reason and you're trying to be a positive effect on the world, then just keep doing it no matter how scared you get at any given point. Because, we are all essentially putting this as our full-time job now.
Yes.
That's scary. I mean, it's like, what does the future look like? So I would tell our futures or younger selves, whatever from the future, just no matter how scared you get, that means the more scared you are, the more you know that you're probably on the right path and something big is about to happen. Because if you're not scared and you're not out of your comfort zone, then you're not doing things big enough.
Right.
Love that.
Love that.
So as we come to a close here, tell everybody how they can reach out to y'all and just enjoy y'all's journey.
And check out your show and everything.
We're on all social media platforms. Glamping Adventures on TikTok, Glamping Adventures group on Facebook. You'll find us under Glamping Adventure Girls, and our website is
www.glamping.com.
That's it.
Love that. And we really enjoyed having y'all on the show today, and we look forward to having y'all back down the road for updates and see where y'all go.
Yes.
Yes, we love it. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
It's
it.
our pleasure.
Oh, thank you
Y'all
so
have a
much
great
for your
day.
time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.